This was a campaign promise that Republicans say they will keep. Watch the House floor today, ready to move on repealing Obamacare, but it could be tight with Democrats opposed and some Republicans also worried about the lack of a replacement. So then, how will this vote go? Rachel Campos-Duffy, Fox News contributor, Leslie Marshall, syndicated radio host and a Fox News contributor as well. Ladies, great to have you both today, and good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Rachel, there could be defections on behalf of Republicans. I think that's where the story is today. What's your expectation?
I think it's going to pass. Maybe it's by a smaller margin, but it's going to pass. And look, I think the Democrats are trying to cause a lot of panic, make them feel like they have to have a replacement right away. They don't. There's time. The plans for 2018 have already been written. There's nothing they can do right now. This is like an aircraft carrier that has to be shifted around. And I think what the Democrats are trying to do is get the Republicans to make the same mistake they did, which is with Nancy Pelosi, when Nancy said, you got to pass the bill before you can see what's in it. These guys want to get it right. They want to have a big conversation with the American people. And I think that they don't want to be pushed into doing something that screws this up. Okay. And remember, one other thing. They also need to see the books. When Tom Price hopefully passes his confirmation hearing and gets in there, Republicans really think that these books have been cooked by the Obama administration in terms of the solvency of Obamacare. They need to really look at this once he's in there and see really what they're dealing with.
Clearly they have a lot of issues. Now, Leslie, quickly, just go on record here. What is your expectation for the vote before I move to a point from Paul Ryan?
Well, I think that, unfortunately, that Rachel might be right, but I think this is like throwing somebody out of a plane without a parachute. And I think, to her point, that if you're really going to look at what's best for the American people, and if you want to have something that you think is better than this, come up with that, then vote to replace it, to repeal it. This is definitely not even putting the cart before the horse. Like I said, throwing somebody out of a plane without a parachute. I think this is political suicide for the Republicans.
If you listened to Paul Ryan last night during his town hall, it appears that they're very sensitive to a lot of everything you're both saying. Paul Ryan said this. Watch from CNN.
So we have to step in and rescue people from the collapse of this law. There are good objectives that they sought to achieve in this law. We agree with that. We think young people should be able to stay on their parents' plan until they're 26. We think there needs to be a solution, which we have, for people with pre-existing conditions. But we want more choices, lower prices, more competition, no monopolies. That's what we want to replace it with, and that's what we're working on right now.
Well, so there you are, ladies. I mean, there's your evidence, Rachel, about what Paul Ryan's trying to get in all this. And now we wait to see whether or not it happens. Go.
Well, I mean, look, that's, people are now getting used to some of the things that Obamacare offered, till you're 26. I personally think that's a little long in the tooth. I'm a mom. I hope my kids are on their own by then. This may be a very clear strategy in moving slowly. And part of it is getting Tom Price through the hearing process, because 60 to 70% of this can be dismantled right there at HHS. So they probably don't want to talk too much about that. Some of it can be done through some of the tax code. So this thing is going to be dismantled, and they are going to open this up to competition. This is what people wanted. The Republicans won on repealing Obamacare. And one of the things that Barack Obama did was to disincentivize health savings accounts. We're going to see that open up. We're going to see people have greater choices, move across state lines and see competition, bring prices down.
Yeah,
but they're going to do this in a very deliberate way, and they're not going to let themselves be forced into things the way the Democrats did it and really soured the American people on Obamacare.
Donald Trump tweeted this earlier: the Unaffordable Care Act will soon be history. Leslie, wrap it up here. In the end, how important is it for Republicans to get Democrats to vote with them? In the end, what is your guess today as to how many votes they get from Democrats?
Oh, you're unfair. I'm not a numbers girl. I'm not even. You know what, Bill? I would be wrong if I even guessed the numbers. I'm not good at guessing numbers. I don't go to Vegas, and I shouldn't. But in the end, what is going to happen here is what really the majority of Americans want is not a repeal or replacement. They want a tweaking. They want to keep portions of the bill that they like, and that's what it is. So there's a lot of play with semantics here, because this, they may be fully repealing it, but whatever they bring back, they're going to be keeping some of it. They just don't want to give the Democrats or President Obama credit for any of that. But the people that could suffer in the interim are lower income Americans, and that is a concern that I have as a taxpayer and a voter.
It's going to be a big story with us coming up here in the new administration. Leslie, thank you. Rachel, thanks to you as well there in Wisconsin. Appreciate it, ladies.
You got it.